the unit number 2, that is research design, isn't it? In research process, we have discussed after identifying the problem, what we do next is we formulate a research design so that we can start conducting that research. So, research design is another important step which we need to discuss in detail in this unit. So, in this unit, we will be discussing different aspects of research design in details. So, this is the syllabus of unit number 2, that is research design. What are our objectives, or what we will be discussing or learning in this unit? These are the different things we will understand. First of all, what we'll understand is the concept of research design. What is a research design? What is the concept or definitions of research design? Then features of a robust research design. What is the ideal research design? What are the characteristics of ideal research design? Then we'll discuss the different types of research designs, like exploratory is there, descriptive, quasi experimental, experimental research designs, concept of cause and effect, then difference between correlation and causation. All this we will discuss. Apart from that, we will understand the different types of variables. There are different types of variables. I give you brief idea in unit number 1 related to what are the different independent and dependent variable. So in this unit, we'll be discussing in detail, in depth about these variables. What are the types of variables? Like there are independent variable, dependent variable, concomitant variable, mediating variable, moderating variable, extraneous variables. So all these types of variables we will understand. Then basic knowledge of treatment and control group. So what is the concept of treatment and control group, that we'll understand. Also, what is the case study design, that we'll understand. Then the type of cross sectional and longitudinal design we will understand. Qualitative and quantitative research. Then pros and cons of various designs, that we will understand. And choice of research design, how to choose a good research design. Along with that, we'll understand important concept of hypothesis. In hypothesis, we'll understand the definition of hypothesis, what is called as research hypothesis, what is called as statistical hypothesis, and null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, directional hypothesis, non-directional hypothesis. All these types of hypothesis we will understand. Then, what are the qualities of a good quality hypothesis? Then framing null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, we will have few examples, few exercises. And then concept of hypothesis testing, what is the logic behind hypothesis testing and what is its importance, that we'll understand. So all this is about our unit number 2, the topics which we are going to cover in research, unit number 2, that is research design. Okay, shall we move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, we'll understand what is the concept of a research design. So what is called as research design, that we'll understand first. So what is research design? So research design refers to overall strategy that researchers choose to incorporate the different components of a study in a consistent and logical way, thereby ensuring researchers will effectively address the research problem. So what is research design? It is a strategy. It is a overall strategy or overall plan of how to go about that particular research, how to solve that particular problem. What are the different steps we are going to follow? What are the different methods we are going to follow? The plan of all this, or the strategy by which we are planning to conduct that particular research, is called as research design.
Hmm.
Are you getting this definition?
Yes.
So then going ahead, another meaning of research design, the research design is a constitutes a blueprint, or it is map for the collection. Somebody, Simran, you please mute your mic. So another meaning of research design constitutes the blueprint, or it is a map for the collection, measurement, analysis of the data. Research design is a framework. So it is a framework or guideline that has been created to find answers to research questions. So it is a roadmap how to conduct the research, all the different steps of the research like collection of the data, measurement of that data, analyzing the data, all those steps how it will be carried out. It is a blueprint or a map of all those activities or methods which we are going to use to conduct that particular research. It is a framework that has been created to find answers to research questions. So whatever research questions we have developed, we have seen the management question research hierarchy of those 6 steps we have understood. So our main problem is to solve that management problem. So to solve that management problem, we design few research questions. So research design is all about to conduct a research or plan the all those activities, methods of conducting that particular research to solve those research questions. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one more thing which we need to understand is research design is a set of methods and procedures. As I told you just now, it is a set of methods, procedures used in collecting and analyzing measures of the variables specified in the research problem or research study. So basically what we do is we measure the variables. What we do in the research is we measure the particular variables that we will study in detail later on. But whatever variables, for example, the sales and the advertisement, these are the two variables, as we took this as an example in the last session. So sales and advertisement, these are the two variables. So research design, as here we are saying that it is a set of methods and procedures used in collecting and analyzing the measures of variables specified in the particular research problem or research study. So we try to collect the data related to those variables. We try to measure those variables. We try to do the analysis of the data so as to get a solution to that particular management problem or research problem. That is a research design. So have you understood the concept of research design, what we discussed just now? Have got the idea? Or it is you are finding it difficult?
So can you please repeat it once again?
Okay. Research design is basically a framework, a guideline, or a map. In a simple words, instead of going by all these definitions or these points, let me tell you in a very simple way. Research design means a framework or a plan about how to conduct that particular research. Before starting any research, we all have studied that the first step is identifying the problem. We first of all we identify the problem correctly, isn't it? That is the first step.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Next, what is there is to decide or to plan about how to go about that research, what to do, isn't it? While doing any activity for that matter, in your daily routine also, you will see that whatever activity you are planning, you are deciding, you have to plan for that, isn't it? Even if you want to go to Mumbai, for example, you are planning how to go to Mumbai or how to go to that particular place, isn't it? by which bus, at what time, whether to go by bus or by railway or by flight, isn't it? When to start from here, when you want to reach there, and what you will do after going there. So for whatever activity you are deciding to do, you have a plan for that. You plan how to do that, isn't it? Like that research also, as research is a systematic and a scientific method, you have to have a plan, and research design is that plan. Getting the point?
Yes, sir.
So in short, research design means a plan of conducting that research, plan of how to conduct that particular research. And in that research design, we plan about which method to be used, how much sample to be taken, which instrument to be used for collecting the data, all that. Just give me a second. So research design means, in short, it is a plan of conducting the research. And it is a guideline, or you can say it is a map, it is a blueprint, framework, whatever you say. It is a plan of conducting the particular research. Getting in simple words? Simran, now clear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So research design is, in short, a plan of how to conduct that particular research to solve that particular problem. Now going ahead, another simple definition given by Kerlinger. What this definition says about research design is: research design is a plan, structure, or strategy of investigations to obtain answers to the research question. This is a very simple definition. Now, Simran, you will be more clear with this definition. Simran.
Yes, sir.
So this is a very simple definition which makes you very clear about what is research design, isn't it? So it is a plan or structure and strategy of investigations to obtain answers to the research questions, isn't it? Are you all getting now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go ahead. So what a research design includes? What are the different contents of a research design? A particular research design should define or should include all these following different activities, or you may say components. So a research design should have all these different components. Whatever may be the study, maybe it is a study in social science or any other study in chemistry or biology or any, for that matter, any research should have a particular research design. So that research design means it is a framework or a plan. And what that plan should include? First thing, it should include the study type. So it should state what type of study it is. Is it a descriptive study, or is it a correlation, semi-experimental or experimental study, or review? What type of study it is? So the researcher should state the study type first in the research design. Getting it? Are you all with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, define
Yes.
or state. Okay. First of all, define or state the study type. What type of study it is, whether it is descriptive, correlation, semi-experimental, experimental, or review type of study. These types of study, all these types, descriptive, correlation, semi-experimental, experimental, that we are going to discuss in detail later on. Then the researcher should state about the subtype of the study. Subtype may be again descriptive study, which is based on longitudinal or case study. So what is the subtype of the study, that also need to be stated. Then the researcher should state the clear research problem. What is the identified problem? In a clear words, there should not be any confusion or there should not be any ambiguity. There should not be any difficulty in understanding what is the problem. So problem statement need to be there. Then hypothesis, that is assumptions. Hypothesis need to be stated. Then the researcher should state all those dependent and independent variables. What are the different dependent and independent variables involved in that particular research? That also need to be specified. Then experimental design, whatever experiment or the plan of experiment you are having in that research, that experimental design the researcher should state in that research design. Then data collection methods. What are the different data collection methods the researcher will be using in that particular research? The data collection may be primary data collection or maybe secondary data collection. So what is all those data collection methods also need to be specified in the research design. And a statistical analysis plan, how that data will be analyzed. What is the plan for analyzing that data also need to be defined or stated in the research design. These are basically all these are components of research design, what a research design should include. So all these are the different components that are important in your research design. Is it understandable, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then going next, features of good research design. What are the different qualities of a good research design that we need to understand? The first important quality is objectivity. Objectivity we have discussed in the last session also. Objectivity means there should not be any bias in it. There should not be research should not be favored on any of the sides, maybe to the management side or to the customer side. The researcher should be independent. His findings need to be independent of any bias. So objectivity means the findings obtained by the research should be objective in nature. Objective in nature means there should not be any bias. Those should not be inclined or favored by the management or the customers. All those findings need to be independent. So it is possible by allowing more than one person to agree between the final scores or conclusion of the research. So more than one person, everyone who is going through or reading that particular research, they should agree about the research. In it, whatever conclusions are or the final scores are obtained, more than one person need to be agree about those final scores or conclusion of the research. There should not be any bias or any favorism while having the findings. Are you getting this point? Objectivity.
Yes, sir.
Then second quality which good research design should have is reliability. Reliability means, what is reliability? I told you in the last lecture. Who will tell me? What is reliability? Shubham? Sanket?
Quality of being trustworthy.
Quality of being trustworthy, correct? Isn't it? That means
The result
if we,
the same.
correct. Very right, Komal and Devendra. both are right. So reliability means after having repetitive experiment or after repeating that particular process, you should get similar or same results, and that repetitiveness of particular process or particular research can build trustworthiness, as Devendra has stated. He said trustworthy. So when it becomes trustworthy, if you repeat that particular research many times and if you get the same results, then you can say that it is reliable. So if the similar research is carried out time and again in a similar setting, it must give similar result. So the researcher must frame the research questions to make it reliable and provide similar outcomes. So the research questions should be framed in such a way that the research becomes reliable and provide similar outcomes. So if we conduct that research n number of times in the similar way or in the similar setting or in similar environment, you should get the similar result. It should not happen that now you have conducted the research, you are getting some result, and after some time or after few days, if you conduct the same result, same research, and you are getting some other result, that should not happen. So if you conduct that research, you should get similar results. If you conduct that research on a repetitive basis, you should get the similar results. That is the meaning of reliability. And if the particular research questionnaire or particular research is reliable, then it can become trustworthy. Another similar word or term which is a very important quality of any research design is validity. Validity, who will tell me that? Also we have I have told you in the last session. What is validity? Who can tell me validity? Do you remember it? Yes, no? Simran? Simran? So validity, as I told you in the last.
Research question should be valid, which means like to get the valid answer.
Correct. But valid means what? That is the question, isn't it?
Sir,
Huh.
related to the law, logically, I think, to get the any questions answer.
Logically?
Logically to get the answer, sir.
Okay. So see, validity means, first we'll see the point, the definition. Any measuring device can be said to be valid if it measures what it is expected to measure and nothing else. Any device, may it be any device which we have taken for measuring particular event or measuring particular variable, or it may be a questionnaire which we have used to measure the responses or take the feedback. So all those, any device, any measuring device, it can be said valid if it measures what it is expected to measure and nothing other than that. To make a research valid, the questionnaire framed before research must be framed accordingly. So the research questionnaire which we are preparing or formulating for that particular research need to be framed accordingly so that the research becomes valid. Now, valid means it should measure what it is expected to measure. I will give you an example. The thermometer, if you take, isn't it? If you take the thermometer and measure the temperature. If it is showing temperature unit, you can say that it is valid unit. If it is showing correct temperature of your body, then you can say that that thermometer is correct unit. So this instrument which we have used, thermometer, is measuring what it is expected to measure in accurate way. So we say that it is valid. Getting the point? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
So if a thermometer is there, and if you are measuring a temperature, if that thermometer measures your accurate temperature of your body, then you can say that it is accurate, or it is valid thermometer. Getting the point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the research questionnaire or a particular research design should be valid. That means it should measure what it is expected to measure. If the questionnaire is framed to measure an attitude of a person, then it should measure the attitude of the person only, isn't it? Nothing other than that. So if it is measuring that particular aspect which we are trying to measure, then we can say that it is valid. A particular instrument or particular research may be reliable but may not be valid. Another point which we have to remember or understand is there may be some cases the research design may be reliable but it may not be valid, and therefore validity is also very, very important. I will give you an example. If a weighing machine is there, weighing machine, you understand?
Yes, sir.
What it measures?
Weight.
Correct. So if you stand on that weighing machine, if it measures 10 kilogram unit, it is reliable. It is providing you the same result whenever you are checking the weight. If it is showing 10 kilogram, but is it true? Simran?
Yes, sir.
If a weighing machine is there, my actual weight is 66 kilogram, but if I stand on that weighing machine, it is showing 10 kilogram. It is reliable. It is showing saying you the same result after repetitive measurement. If I stand on that weighing machine 10 times, it is showing the same result, that is 10 kilogram. But is it correct?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So that means a particular research design or particular research instrument may be reliable sometimes, but it may not be valid. It may not be correct. Even if it is showing the same results every time, but it may not be valid. Getting the point? Therefore, checking the reliability and validity of an instrument or research design is very, very important while conducting a research. It should be reliable first of all. That means it should produce similar results every time you are conducting the same research, and at the same time it should be valid. That means it should measure what it is expected to measure. Are you all getting all this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then another important quality of a good research design is generalization. Generalization means whatever results you are getting, that should be applicable to a large group of a sample. The information collected from given sample must be utilized for providing a general application to the large group of people or large group which from where the sample is drawn. So generalization means what? Your research should be able to be generalized. In whatever research you are conducting, the results should be such that it should be applicable to the large group of people also. It should be applicable, or it should represent the entire population of the people. Whenever we are conducting a research, we may take a sample. We are taking few sample, maybe 50 people, 100 people as a sample for study. We'll study the characteristic or the different aspects which we want to study on the basis of that sample. But at the end of research, whatever findings which we are getting, that findings should be such that the sample should represent the entire population. The findings need to be applicable to the entire population. The findings which we are getting should be able to generalize. We should be able to generalize those findings to a larger population. That is the meaning of generalization. Got the point of generalization?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in short, generalization means what? It should be applicable to large population, or the sample which you are drawing, or whatever findings which you are getting should be applicable to the entire population or large group of people. So if it is clear, we will move ahead. So this research design should have these important qualities like objectivity, that it should not be biased. It should be reliable. That means it should be able to generate the similar results after repetitive experiments, or after having that repetitive basis. On a repetitive basis, if we conduct that particular research, you should get similar results. It should be valid, means it should measure whatever it is expected to measure. And generalization, that means it should be able to it should represent the entire population, or the findings which you are getting should be such that it should be generalized to the entire population or a large group of people. So then, use of a good research design. So once we have a good research design in place, so how that research design will be of use to the researcher? First of all, it cuts down the inaccuracy. So inaccuracy will be reduced. Your research will be more correct, more accurate. That is the first importance of research design. So it cuts down the inaccuracy. It allows researcher to get maximum efficiency and reliability. So the research design, if it is a good research design or a quality research design, it gives you optimum efficiency, it gives you maximum output, and it is also trustworthy, that is reliable. A good research design also reduces wastage of time. It reduces your time. As we discussed, it is a plan of a research, or blueprint of a research, or structure of a research. So if you have a good research design, it reduces a wastage of time. You will be able to complete the research in a stipulated time. Then it reduces uncertainty, confusion, and practical haphazard related to any of the research problem. So it reduces all those uncertainties, confusion, practical haphazard here and there, mistakes, and any other problems related to that particular research. Then after that, it is a guide for giving research at the right path. It is a guide, it is a plan for giving the right direction. So once a good research design is in place, it acts as a guide or a reference for the researcher to conduct that particular research. Then it provides an idea concerning the type of resources needed in terms of money, effort, time, and manpower. So once you prepare this research design, you come to know what are all the resources which are required for conducting research. Maybe in terms of money, in terms of effort, how much time will be required, how many people, that is manpower, will be required. All that can be calculated, or the researcher come to know after having a good research design. Then a good research design maximizes the reliability of the results. So as we said, if a research design is good, it increases the reliability of results. It increases the trustworthiness of the results. Then the good research design incorporates by learning from other people's critical comments and evaluations. So a good research design incorporate all those critical views or evaluations or suggestions by other people. Good research design is that which incorporates the views, the comments or suggestions by other people. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So going ahead, what we'll discuss is research approaches. And approach means what? Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of this approach? In a simple way, who will tell me what is approach? Chaitali? Vinod? Please talk something.
Sir, result of the research.
Approach.
Sir, to convincing someone.
नहीं. Simply put, approach means way of doing. What are the different ways? What are the methods? Approach means simply the ways. So research approaches. What are the different ways of or conducting the research? So what different types of researches are there? What are the different ways of conducting the research? Research approaches means ways. So in research approaches, or the different ways we can conduct research, is there are two types: qualitative approach, and there is another approach which is called as quantitative approach. So what do you understand by qualitative or quantitative? Do you get any understanding with these words, qualitative and quantitative? Anybody can try. Qualitative and quantitative. Does these words say something? Vinod?
Sir, qualitative approach means to the quality of the any research or product. क्वालिटी के हिसाब से.
करेक्ट है.
और
who will tell me quantitative?
It is the collection of numericals numbers.
Very right, Shubham and Vinod.
Yes, sir.
So qualitative approach, from this word only, it says that it is about qualitative aspects. And quantitative approach, with these words, it says that it is about quantity, numbers. Right? Very correctly, Shubham has pointed. Quantitative means it is about numbers, isn't it? So we'll see what is the meaning of qualitative research and quantitative research. First we'll understand what is the meaning of these terms, qualitative research and quantitative research. So first of all, this qualitative research. What is qualitative research is? It is intended to deeply explore and understand, interpret the social phenomena within its natural setting. So this qualitative research is to understand a particular phenomenon in depth, very clearly in its natural setting. Means we are not manipulating any of the variables, we are not controlling any variables, as it is environment or the particular setting or particular um, phenomenon as it is, we study, we try to explore it in depth, we try to understand it, we call it as a qualitative research. By using qualitative research, there is the researchers want to collect richer information and get more detailed picture of issues, cases or events. So this qualitative research will help the researchers to collect rich information, in detail and in-depth information about a particular event, particular issue, particular case or particular phenomena. In short, qualitative research will help researcher to go into the details of a particular issue, particular event, particular case or particular phenomena by collecting qualitative data, qualitative aspects, particular qualitative dimension of all that data wherein numbers are not involved. So qualitative data or qualitative research is non-numerical. Here you will see that the numericals will not be involved. You will not see any numerical data. Here the data whatever the researcher is collecting or analyzing, all the data is all about pictures, words, sentences in it. So qualitative data is all about the qualitative aspects which is non-numerical in nature, which is helpful for the researcher to go into the details of particular research problem. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
And another is your quantitative data or quantitative research. So this quantitative research, as the term suggests, quantitative research is an inquiry into a social problem, or it explains phenomena by gathering numerical data. So here you see that quantitative research involves numerical data that are analyzed using mathematical based methods, particularly in statistics. So by using different statistical and mathematical models or methods, the data, numerical data will be analyzed. So quantitative research is basically numerical data. It is count, or we can say that numerical, or it is a all number data which is analyzed by using different statistical tools which are available. What are few of the statistical tools or statistical or mathematical tools we may study later on. But at this point we have to understand that quantitative research is all about understanding a particular social problem or inquiring into a particular social problem, or explaining a phenomena by having or by gathering the numerical data and then analyzing that data, numeric data, by using particular statistical techniques. So that is called as quantitative research. So these are two important approaches, research approaches we are going to study in detail. That is qualitative research and quantitative research. These two approaches we are going to learn in detail. That is qualitative approach and quantitative approach. Are you getting these terms? qualitative approach now and quantitative approach. Are you clear with this now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is, instead of going ahead, I will just have a recap of what we discussed today, and then we'll stop. So we started with unit number 2, that is research design. So in this unit, we started with understanding the concept of research design. What is research design? We, in short, in a simple way, we understood what is research design is. It is a plan, structure and strategy of investigation to obtain answers to the research question. Then we saw what a research design should include, or what a research design should define. All these components we discussed. Then important features of a good research design that we discussed. Important aspects or characteristics of good research design, like objectivity, reliability, validity, generalization. These qualities we have discussed. Then we discussed how a good research design can be useful for a researcher, that we discussed. And we started with this research approaches. In that we started discussion on qualitative approach and quantitative approach. Till now, till this we have discussed today. So please tell me whatever we have discussed. If you have any query about whatever we have discussed today, you please ask me. We will discuss it once again. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall I ask question if you have understood?
Sir, hello, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, what is the meaning of practical haphazard?
Haphazardness means the different mistakes, or haphazardness means unorganizedness in it. If you are not planned, what happens is, there is unorganized things. You may do mistakes. You will do that same things again and again with very less output, isn't it?
Okay, sir.
If
Another
any
one is, hello, sir.
Huh.
Longitudinal case study means, sir? Longitudinal case study means?
Okay.
Longitude.
So,
longitudinal case study, sir. Yes, sir. Subtype of study. Okay.
Correct. So these types of this study, like descriptive, longitudinal, or case studies, that we are going to discuss in detail in other sessions. We'll have separate sessions on these types of studies in it. However, for now, what I will tell you is, there are two types of studies, that, like for example, cross-sectional and longitudinal. For now, I am telling you the meaning of longitudinal. Longitudinal means repetitive study. If there is sample, and if you are conducting a study on that particular sample again and again after regular period, we can say that it is longitudinal study. There is another type like longitudinal, that is called as cross-sectional study. In it, cross-sectional study means at one point of time only. So that study will be conducted only at once for that particular time. It is not repeated. Getting it?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that is the basic meaning of longitudinal and cross-sectional study. However, we will be discussing that in detail in subsequent sections. Even if you are not still very much clear about these terms, longitudinal and cross-sectional, it is not a problem. Here only what is important is, we have to understand what are all the different components of a research design in it. Now these subtypes we will discuss in detail later on in subsequent sessions. Only what you can understand here is longitudinal means repetitive study on a particular sample. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So if there are no further queries,